Hey, good people, it's Miss Coconut. How are you doing since I last spoke with y'all earlier today? I did not anticipate coming before y'all twice in a day, but the news is on fire again because apparently they have named a person of interest in the Nashville bombing, right? And he's been identified as longtime Nashville resident Anthony Quinn Warner. What a name for us, okay? When you begin to break down some of the elements of that name, Anthony Quinn Warner, you come up with a soldier or a warrior for the wise counsels of the flower. Okay? That's interesting to me because who has a flower as one of its components to its insignias? The Freemasons. So, anywho, we know that there was a blast that ripped through downtown Nashville early on Christmas morning. We don't know why yet. We just know there was a recording that was spooky. We know there was an RV. And let me just say, every time I make these videos, YouTube censors me. They take away my money. They demonetize the video. And they suppress me so that people don't see my channel. I'm probably at some point going to move into a podcast so I can talk about kind of what I want to talk about without constantly being censored by the gods of YouTube. So we know that there was some type of identification going on with a house that's located in Antioch, Tennessee, and that there was a similar RV parked out in front of that home. He was 63 years old. He worked in information technology. Listen, if anybody works in IT, I know they're smart, probably, most likely, sort of, kind of. Okay? And he was a freelance computer technician. So he was probably very savvy at a lot of things, but he was probably also a free thinker. So they said he suddenly quit his job for working at a local realtor's company all of a sudden, okay? And they said that was really weird. But it got even stranger, people, because after that, he transferred his home to a 29-year-old girl by the name of Michelle L. Swing of Los Angeles, okay? He also transferred another property to Swing, but apparently she's saying she didn't know she got transfership of these houses, okay? It is also saying Mr. Warner is not married. He doesn't have a voter's registration on board. And it says like there's no record of him even voting in any election. You know how they do these stories, y'all. Y'all know how they do these stories. But let's go back to this girl. She's 29, Michelle L. Swing of Los Angeles. And look at it, because they're saying this is a suicide bombing. They found the remains. They're saying they identified him from his DNA, etc., etc. But y'all know, when these domestic terrorist attacks happen, they give us the story they want us to know. That has been proven. You can look through the history. If you want to really understand what's going on, you can just pull up different events that have occurred and see what people are really saying about it, not what the government is telling you, and then you will have your answer. Okay, so Michelle Swing basically breaks down to one who is like God shift, or the shift of one who is like God. So they're telling us that this is a move by the powers that be, okay? We don't know the link yet between the named suspect, okay, the bomber, allegedly, and this young lady, all right? They know that she's some type of music executive and that the alleged bomber gifted her a house free of charge without her knowledge. She lives all the way in Los Angeles, okay? So we're not really sure how she met him, if she ever met him, etc. No one knows. This is just so bizarre. As usual with all of these type of stories, the details get so murky and keeps your head spinning because it just sounds like something out of a comic. I don't know who would give someone a over $100,000 house free of charge for no reason, and it's supposedly a stranger. Okay, Anyway, I heard that he also gave her a letter, and that in the letter he was speaking in some type of code, but the FBI have already shut that down and told her not to say anything, okay? That she cannot give any more information to the reporters. So, of course, you can break down what was in the letter that he gave her. You can look at the number of the houses that was gifted to her. All of that is a code, okay? You have to remember when they present these stories, this is nothing more than a movie to them, okay? They use real people if they have to. They use drones. They use clones. They use people that have been mind controlled, whatever it takes to get the narrative out there to cover up whatever they are really doing. Anywho, this is not over, people, because of course the QAnons got involved and they're saying that the name Anthony Quinn Warner is some type of anagram. Some people are saying this is saying Q is warning you, Q warning you. Some people say this is a conspiracy within itself because they always present these old white men that no one really knows, lone wolf, conspiracy theorist type of person, prepper. They always present that as the face for the domestic terrorists, okay? But it's always interesting to read the thoughts and try to decipher best as you can from what people are spewing out what the code here could be. Several reports have also stated that a possible motive for this is that he was a conspiracy theorist. He was heavily against the 5G technology, and that his father actually worked for the Old Bell South company, which was linked to AT&T, and that he may have been treated unfairly, and that the son, Anthony Quinn Warner, had a vendetta against AT&T for that reason and decided to just go blow up the downtown location where the AT&T building is located, sort of kind of near. That building is a little spooky. Looks definitely like Moloch, like an owl, right? So that's a code too. So they're saying, but what I can't figure out is that some people are saying the buildings got blown up to take away from the election, voter fraud allegedly. And some people are saying he just had a personal vendetta against AT&T. But what I don't understand is, like, if this man was as smart as they're saying, definitely then he could have thought of a much more cohesive way to blow up the AT&T building. All he did was disrupt service for a few hours or days, and a lot of buildings did get affected and are shut down, but most people will be able to recoup that on their insurance. So I'm not really sure if he thought this plan all the way through. Because the story just won't stop getting weirder, it's now alleged that the alleged bomber was playing the song Downtown by Petula Clark. She's a old British star. Probably a lot of history there that I could dig up about her background growing up in showbiz. Her song Downtown is a very melancholic song about being lonely and just escaping to the city to revive your spirits. So all of that is code. Downtown is a code. Petula Clark is a code. Her code name basically means the order of the priest or a semblance of the priest. So something related to priesthood. Okay, and as I tell you all the time, I don't be solving no mysteries in these videos because I just don't know enough. I only know that certain things pop up are coded, okay? And then you have to break down what each code, like downtown, that can mean a place in the city where you go where there are lots of buildings and bars and hangouts, right? Downtown also is a sexual slang word, okay? But downtown also is somewhere where you go to get locked up at. If you've been drunk walking, jaywalking, or drunk driving, they'll lock you up and take you downtown, okay? So he could be coding all of that in there to tell us that this was all a scenario where he is now going to be hidden or in the witness protection plan because he will no longer be seen, all right? Anyway, y'all, what do you think? You think that the alleged suicide bomber was giving us a code and warning us about technology? about the corporate media, the corporate businesses, the corporate world that runs America? Do you think this alleged suicide bomber was trying to tell us something? And if you do think that, what do you think that the message was for you? What was decoded to you? Because as I always explain, everything is in layers, and you will have impressed upon your psyche your own revelations about the decoding, okay? So I want to know what y'all think, okay? It's about 50 of y'all that are really great at decoding, so drop me some information down below. I'm curious to find out, what did you pick up? And as always, I'm Shreen Brezzy.